I'm going to discuss the topic, which is pressure measurements. So for week 4, for the subject O2 1. So just read all these table competence uh, because we'll discuss this one one by one. So let's get started. So measurement of process value. So we have mechanical and electronic pressure measuring instrument and level measuring devices. So our learning objectives: explain in the principle of operation of various measuring instrument used on board ship, such as mechanical and electronic pressure measuring instruments, level measuring devices. So all of this we are using on board ship. So I had to discuss also and define the different types of mechanical and electronic pressure measuring devices. Mechanical pressure devices: manometer, YouTube manometer, Gordon gauge, and elastic pressure transducer. Electrical pressure devices: electrical pressure transducer, strain gauge, capacitive, and piezoelectric. So I have this also to discuss how pressure gauges can be tested on board ship, and I have also to discuss uh, the two methods used to measure level. So direct or mechanical method by the use of the dipsticks and lead lines, set glass, chain or float gauge. Inferential or indirect method. So displacement, buoyancy level measurement, capacitance, and radiation level instruments. So we have here the mechanical pressure devices. So as you can see here, this is a U-shaped manometer, or we can call it YouTube manometer. So this is YouTube manometer, and here this is also a gauge manometer. This is analog manometer. So in this YouTube manometer, uh, the media here inside is fresh water. So we use this one in our we use this one to measure the differential pressure of our main engine air cooler and our auxiliary engine air cooler. So it is measuring the inlet pressure minus the outlet pressure, air pressure of our air cooler. So this is YouTube manometer. So we can use also this pressure gauge manometer. We can put this one in the inlet and the other one in the outlet, and we minus the pressure of the inlet and the pressure of the outlet, so that we can have the differential pressure. So these are example of the mechanical pressure devices. So next, so what is manometer? So is a device that measures air pressure using a container with a U-shaped tube open at one or both ends. So in a closed manometer, a sample of gas is introduced into one, which is then capped. This pressure represents the positive or negative difference. So the differential pressure. So between the gas and the atmospheric pressure. So that is the U-shape or the YouTube manometer. So here, this is our example of the application of using the YouTube or U-shape manometer, and as well as the pressure gauge manometer. So in here we have the inlet of your, so there is air here, inlet of air here, from your turbocharger, and it discharges here. So by using the U-shape manometer or the pressure gauge manometer, it measures here's the inlet pressure of your air pressure, your air cooler, and the outlet pressure. So that is called differential pressure. So we use the U-tube or the U-shape manometer and the pressure gauge manometer. So that is one application. So next, we have here the Bourdon pressure gauge. So what is Bourdon pressure gauge? So Bourdon tube pressure gauges are used for the measurement of the relative pressures from 0.6 to 7,000 bar. So they are classified as mechanical pressure measuring instruments and thus operate without an electrical power. So Bourdon tubes are radially formed tubes with an oval cross section. So we'll see here. So these are example of your Bourdon gauge manometer. So it reads pressure here, as you can see. So this is around 445 bar here also. So this is not normal deflection of the pointer. So this is only to show you how it works. If this is the deflection of the pointer, which is not steady, there is a problem of your let's say cooling system. So I experienced this problem before. So when I was first time acting as chief engineer, I experienced this problem. So there was a problem of the cooling system, which is the exhaust gas was leaked into the cooling water through exhaust valve. So that's why there was a deflection, continual deflection of or fluctuating deflection of the pressure gauge, the pointer. So this is not normal, but this is only to show you how this pressure gauge is working. So it must be steady pressure. So these are examples of your Bourdon pressure gauge. So let us come here in the elastic pressure transducer. What is elastic pressure transducer? So a pressure transducer consists of two main parts: an elastic material which will deform when exposed to a pressurized medium. Let's say air, water, oil. Those are the mediums. So an electrical device which detects the deformation. So the most method of utilizing elastic material is to form it into a thin flexible membrane called a diaphragm. So we will see the example. So this is the example, or this is the example of the elastic type pressure transducer. So here, as you can see here, this is a look-alike with the Bourdon pressure gauge. This is a front view where you can read the pressure. But inside, so we will see this one. We will remove the cover, the back cover of this elastic type pressure transducer. We can see here. So this is the chamber under vacuum. There is what we call this just like the coil, but this is mechanical. This is copper tube inside in the form of cord. So when there is a pressure here, this is a hole. This is connected. Your fittings is connected to your pipe or to your pump. When the pressure is in vacuum or the suction pressure, this elastic material is moving and the pointer is deflecting towards to negative pressure. And when the pressure is uh, plus, or what we call the uh, positive pressure, the deflection of the pointer, or there's a positive pressure, or the chamber at atmosphere, or this is positive pressure. This elastic material inside is moving and the pointer is deflecting to uh, positive pressure. So as you can see, this one is going up and the vacuum here is going down. So this is example, or this is an example of elastic type pressure transducer. So it reads pressure. So next, we have also electrical pressure devices. So electrical pressure transducer, a pressure transducer often called a pressure transmitter. So there's a transmitter. So is a transducer that converts pressure into an analog electrical signal. So pressure applied to the pressure transducer produces a deflection of the diaphragm, which introduces strain to the gauges. So we'll see. So this one is the animation of the electrical pressure transducer. So as you can see here, the level of the tank is increasing, and here the level also read by your transducer electrical uh, electronic pressure gauge is also increasing. So from 0% content of the tank going up to 100%. So it is, so the sensor here is mounted in your tank, is filled with uh, water, because the water here is flowing to your uh, copper tube here, to your capillary tube, and it causes deformation of the your diaphragm. So your diaphragm is moving, and this moving of the diaphragm inside here is uh, converting the signal, or the deformation is being converted by the use of the transmitter, and your transmitter is uh, converting the signal into electrical signal, and it reads here your uh, the level of your tank. So that is an example of your electrical pressure devices. So from the uh, mechanical here, there is a what we call the fluid here inside, which is water, cause the deformation of your diaphragm, and this deformation causes uh, the reading, and it sends through the transmitter and to your thermometer. So converted it into an digital reading. So next, so this is animation, a continuation of animation. So as you can see, the diaphragm in here, when this the fluid is creating pressure, as you can see, there is a movement of your diaphragm, and this one will, this movement will, it is converted into the the electrical signal going to your through transmitter going to your digital thermometer. So next, strain gauge. So what is strain gauge? So a strain gauge sometimes referred to as strain gauge is a sensor whose resistance varies with applied force. So it converts force, pressure, tension, weight, etc. into a change in electrical resistance, which can be then measured. So it creates electrical resistance. So thus strain gauges can be used to pick up expansion as well as contraction. So what is the best definition of strain? So strain is defined as to exert or stretch to the maximum by too much exertion. So we will see example. So as you can see, the material here, it uh, move, it contract, or the contraction is being made, or the expansion. So it also changes the resistance, and it is uh, converted the signal of the resistance into volts. So that is an example. So how does an electrical strain gauge work? So here, as you can see here, this is a sensor strain gauge. So strain gauges are sensors that enable relative changes in length, strength to be measured. So here, strain is referred to as a positive if a material is stretched, and negative if a material if it is compressed here. So positive when stretched, but when it's compressed, it is negative. So we have here the application. So manufacturing of transducers, force transducers, load cells, torque, and pressure transducers. So experimental stress analysis, determination of absolute value and direction of mechanical stresses, fatigue, life analysis, and residual stress analysis. So here in the wings of the plane or the airplane, there is a strain gauge here so that it can be measured the strain of the wings of the plane, the strain of material, because if this strain is not measured, it might be this material a lot of strain, it might be compressed or contract, or it might be expand. There's a contraction or the expansion, and a lot of strain can be result in the breakdown of this airplane wings. So by monitoring, by the use of the strain gauge, can be determined the strain, how much, or if it is allowable or not allowable or accessible anymore. So that is one example of the uh, application of the strain gauge. So structure of strain gauge, covering layer, so your sensor cover, so the carrier, and the measuring grid, this one side, and the connection, which is positive and negative. So here is uh, the wavelength here. So how does it work? So as you can see, this one is compressed. So if it is compressed, it is let's see here, it is negative. So it is negative, so it is decreasing. And if it is straight, it is increasing, or positive resistance. So when straight is its resistance is increases. So this is your formula. The change in the resistance enables the strength on the strain gauge to be determined. So this is the legend. So next, let us come to the capacitive sensor. So what is capacitive sensor? So a capacitive sensor uses the characteristics of a capacitor and its electrical field to form a sensor. So capacitive sensors work by detecting any change in the electric field. The sensor can register either touch or proximity, displacement, as well as the level detection of humidity and pH. So one example that you are very familiar is your gadget, your tablet, your mobile phone, a smartphone. That is a capacitive sensor because when you touch by your finger, it is sensed uh, by your LED, your LED, your screen, and it is working. So that is one example of a capacitive sensor is your smartphone, your touchscreen smartphone, and your tablet. So here on board the ship, we have a wired capacitive sensor. So what are the application? So it measures the liquid level, so liquid level detection, material level control, counting, induction molding process. So we will see here the illustration. So we have an object passing through the sensor. So it here this part is the direct dielectric plates, and so the second part is the oscillator and detector, and we have here the output. So here when the object is uh, near or passing to the dielectric plates, it detects and sends signals and it creates outputs. But when the object is away from your dielectric plates, there is no output signal, as you can see on this illustration. So we will see here the application. So this is the uh, what we call this is uh, water level of the tank, and you put here the capacitive sensor. So this is your capacitive sensor that is mounted on the wall of your tank. So as you can see here, when the object is passing to the dielectric plates, there is a reaction or a detection of uh, dielectric signal, and this will create a signal and creating output. So this one convert this signal to electrical signal. So it can read the level of your tank. Next, so we have here the general overview, sensing distance, the size, the density, and the conduction. So the lesser and the greater, smaller, larger, less dense, and more dense, and non-conductive and conductive. So we have the ungrounded, conductive, and grounded. So we have here the level of detection. So let us proceed. Here also, we have on board the ship a similar uh, with this capacitive sensor. So here, or this is also a magnetic pickup or the proximity sensor. So we have here the gear of the engine, and we have here the sensor. Part of the sensor is the magnet, flux change indicates gear to proximity. So it's the gear, pole piece, and the pickup coil. So we have the north pole and the south pole. This is your magnet. So as this gear is turning, as the engine is continue running, continue working, it reaches the RPM. So the signal here is being converted into electrical signal and convert it into analog signal, which here reaches the RPM. And it also converts to, it can read also your tachometer with a digital signal also. But here is the analog signal. So one example of the capacitive sensor is your magnetic pickup or magnetic switch, or your proximity sensor. That is one application to the engine. So next, we have here also the piezoelectric. What is piezoelectric? So piezoelectric effect is the ability of certain materials to generate an electric charge in response to applied mechanical stress. The word piezoelectric is derived from the Greek pisim, in which means to squeeze or press, and piezo, which is Greek for push. So we will see the illustration here. So a piezoelectric sensor is a device that uses a piezoelectric effect to measure changes in pressure, acceleration, temperature, strain, or force by converting them to an electrical charge. The prefix piezo is Greek for press or squeeze. So as you can see here, the material in this simple video here, the material is compressed or squeezed or compress and then expand. As you can see, when it is compressing, the signal sending to the voltmeter, the reading is increases. When it is, the material is expanded, the voltmeter reading is decreases. So it's in signals. So this is one example of the application of piezoelectric sensor. So here, we have also the application of the piezoelectric motor. So a piezoelectric motor or piezo motor is a type of electric motor based upon the change in shape or a piezoelectric material when an electric field is applied. So piezoelectric motors make use of the converse piezoelectric effect, whereby the material produces acoustic or ultrasonic. So we have here the sensor, piezoelectric sensor. So we apply here in our servo motor. So our servo motor, one example of our servo motor application is in the auxiliary engine governor, your generator engine governor. So here, this generator engine governor is connected to your governor here, the linkage, your governor and this and this the wire here is connected to your main switchboard, so that you can increase the RPM there. No, you can increase the load of your generator engine in your main switchboard. Yeah. During synchronization also, you can operate from your main switchboard in the engine control room. So here, these are the applications of the piezoelectric sensor. So we have microphones, pickups, pressure sensor, force sensor, strain gauge. We have also the actuator, loudspeaker, piezoelectric motors, nano positioning on AFM and STM, acousto-optic modulators, bulbs, high voltage and power source, cigarette lighter, energy harvesting, AC voltage multiplier. So as you can see here, these are example of the application. As you can see here. So here, we mentioned the application which is lighter. So piezoelectric materials are materials that produce a voltage when stress is applied. So since this effect also applies in the reverse manner, a voltage across the sample which produce stress with the sample. Suitably designed structures made from these materials can be therefore be made that bend, expand, or contract. So when a voltage is applied, piezoelectricity is found is useful for applications such as the production and the detection of sound, generation of high voltages, electronic frequency generation, microbalances, and everyday uses such as acting as the ignition source of the cigarette lighters and push start propane barbecues. So as you can see here, the uh, transformer. So voltage lighter. So as you push this igniter, so there's a current and ignite the gas here to create flame. So that is one example of the application of the piezoelectric. So piezoelectric transformer, a solid state device that uh, transform electrical energy into electrical energy by means of a mechanical vibration. So these devices are manufactured using piezoelectric materials that are driven at resonance. So here, as you can see here, you have the transformer. So one example of the application of the piezoelectric. So this is called piezoelectric transformer. We have also here the battery charger. Battery charger uses also piezoelectric. So it charges the battery by means of piezoelectric system. Next, so we have also how to as part of the topic for this week, how the pressure gauges can be tested on board ship. So I will not read all of this procedure, but rather to explain to you the procedure here. So I have when I was on board the ship, in my cabin there is what we call the calibrator, pressure calibrator. So we don't have this digital reading, but we have the analog. But we have here this calibrator. So by testing the pressure gauge on board the ship, we connect either here in the digital reading instrument or either in the analog. So we can test the pressure. So we remove the pressure gauge of a certain auxiliaries such as pump or the pressure gauge on the pipeline, and we put here, we connect in this pressure input, which is the hose, and we have also here the pressure module and the hand pump. So if we will not use the pressure module, depends on the system of our hand pump pressure. So we use on board this analog. So we connect the pressure here, and when we pump, and we can read the pressure. So this hand pump is calibrated. So if we have this digital uh, reading, digital instrument, so we calibrate with with the use of this digital. So it must be the reading here in the analog, which is fitted on board mostly in the ship. So we compare the reading here and here must be the same because this is calibrator. So that is how to calibrate pressure gauge on board ship. So next, so I have to discuss the two methods used to measure level, the direct or mechanical method. So with use of the dipstick and the lead lines, sight glass, chain, or float gauge. So what is the purpose of the dipstick? So dipstick are used for quick and easy level measurement of liquids in hard to reach places, consisting of metal strip which has making on it to indicate liquid level. So one example there is your car engine. So you remove the dipstick and check the level of the actual level of your lubricating oil or your engine of your oil of your engine. So that is dipstick. But on board the ship, the small engine also, such as the uh, generator engine, we use also dipstick to measure the level. Emergency generator engine, we use dipstick. But in the main engine, because the tank of the main engine is too big and the content of the oil is uh, in large amount, we cannot use dipstick on that. So we use the oil gauging tape, or we usually call it on board ship sounding tape. Sounding tape. But when you are ordering in IMPA, you cannot say word sounding tape there. You can say oil gauging tape. So the correct is the oil gauging tape, but we call this one sounding tape. So next, so these are example of your sight glass types. So you can measure the level of the either gas, fluid, oil, water. So inside of your machine by the use of your sight glass. So there is a glass that you can see all the level. So these are uh, examples of your sight glass that is that are fitted in your engine room machinery on board ship. So let us come to the application. So as you can see here, the level of your water is being read by your sight glass. So this is bicolor sight glass, bicolor type. So we have here also the mechanical type. So a visual indication of a level can be obtained when a part of the vessel is constructed from the transparent material, or the liquid in a vessel is bypassed through a transparent tube. So the advantage of using stop valves with the use of the bypass pipe is in the removal of cleaning. So if you want to remove this one, close the stop valves. So as you can see here, so isolation valves for maintenance, this one. As you can see here, the level of the tank is here, the 3/4 full. So you cannot see inside the level of the water level of the tank without the side glass, because this is closed vessel. Closed vessel. So here, this water is rush or passing to the valve, to the pipe, and it will fill up the sight glass with water. So the air is going back here, being released the atmosphere. So you can see the actual level of your water by using of the sight glass. So that is the water level. Next, so we have also here the flow type level indicator. So how can you read by the use of the flow type, the level indicator? So there is a float inside the pipe, inside of your tank. There is a pipe and there is a float. As you can see here, this is a float, and this is connected to by a cable. So your cable also is connected here also with the winter. Here, winter, and it reads the level of your the actual level of your tank here to the level indicator. So that is flow type level indicator. So you have a float inside the tank here, inside the tank, and you can read the level here. So there is uh, a cable inside here, the connection to your float and to your level gauge. So these are example of flow type level indicator. Next, inferential or indirect method. So displacement, buoyancy, level measurement, capacitance, and radiation level instrument. So measurement principle. So displacement instruments determine oil level by sensing buoyant force exerted on a displacer by the liquid it displaces. So unlike floats, in a float type level instrument, the displacer moves very little relative to the rising or falling of the liquid. So this is called displacer here, the displacer here. Displacer. So this is example of displacement level sensor. So there is a mechanical linkage between the float and your level indicator or the indicator scale, as you can see. So one way of measuring the level of liquids is to use mechanical linkage that has the float that rides on the surface. So as the water is going up, the float is also going up. Just like an example of your the flushing system of your toilet. So there's a float inside. So when the water is full, the float will go up. When the water is increasing, the float will go up gradually, and when it is full, the float will still float on the top of the surface of the water and will close because there is a mechanical linkage, will close the valve or the the of your flushing system, the what we call the mechanism, your flushing system. So it closes the valve. So it's the same here. It reads the the level of your uh, tank, the water level. So the mechanical linkage can be connected directly to scale, which shows the measured level, or to an electronic power source, which produces a voltage proportional to the depth of the field. So this is directly proportional. When the level of water go up, increase, the reading also increase. So directly proportional. And it can also connected to an electrical signal, and it reads the digital reading. So it, it can read in remotely. It's either in your control room, the instrument there, digital signal. So there is a mechanism that the mechanical signal mechanical movement here converted into a electrical signal, so that it can be converted also into digital reading. So As you can see here, it's the same example. But here, so when two liquids that don't mix together are in the same container, it is called liquid interface. They include the following. So fluids, oil, and water, specific chemicals, and slurries. So we have also here the analog reading. So this process based on the Archimedes principle. A body immersed in a liquid is buoyed up by a force equal to the weight of the displaced liquid. So one example there is your ship. So your ship has no cargo. There is an empty tank, empty cargo hold, and as far as the Archimedes principle is applied, remember as Archimedes principle says that the weight of the object, the weight of the water is being displaced is equal to the weight of the water of the object. Now, the weight of the object is placed on your tank. As we applied as Archimedes principle, the weight of the object of the cargo is loaded on your tank is equal to the weight of the water is being displaced, because your ship will submerge and the water displaces, because your ship is occupied, which is the load plus the load of your the cargo, the tank, so the water will displace. So the weight of the object or the cargo being loaded to your ship plus the weight of your ship is equal to the weight of the water being displaced, which is seawater, and that is called displacement. So that is Archimedes principle. So the same here, there is a displacer which is the float, and when this displacer being pushed by the water, the force of the water upward, this will read because this is mechanical linkage, this will read the level of your tank here, the water level or the fluid level with your analog scale. So next, so the same example here. So as the level of the liquid in the tank changes, the displacer moves by the same amount. The connecting rod here slides into or extend from the enclosure here on which the scale is mounted. So it reads the analog what we call reading here, the label. Here also, instead of using the analog scale or the digital readout, a transmitter can be used to produce electrical signals to remote readings or to control the loop. So it can be also read by digital readings here, and it can be used also converted into digital by the transmitter digital signal or electrical signal, and can be read, converted into digital signal. So just like as you can see here. So next we will proceed. What is the capacitance type level measurement? So the principle of capacitive level measurement is based on the change of capacitance. So an insulated electrode acts as one plate of capacitor, and the tank wall or reference electrode in a non-metallic vessel acts as the other plate. So the capacitance depends on the fluid level. So as you can see here, you have a sensor probe, the level probe, and it is connected to the your wire. So positive and negative terminal, and connected to the ground. So it produces dielectric uh, uh, signal. So the liquid of your the level of your liquid is converted into uh, the signal. The signal here with the level of your liquid, the signal here being read by your electrode is converted into electrical signal and converted into digital reading. The same here. There is a electrode fitted. So the signal is being read here with the level of your oil and water is sent to transmitter, and to transmitter your controller and to your uh, digital thermometer, or either to your computer monitor. So the same here. Here also is the same. So by the change of the capacitance, uh, it is converted by your sensor, uh, sent to your transmitter and to your digital uh, level indicator. So next, we have also radiation instrument used. So this is used as a survey monitors are either gas field detectors or solid state. So detectors, example is scintillator or semiconductor detector. So this is used by the surveyors. So as we understand that radiation is uh, done by the use of the light. So we have the light here. So either light from the sun or light from the your lightings. So as you can see here, it is monitored by the use of the light. So your source here is the light, and it reads here the level. So there is a light here, and this light is uh, detected by your detector here. When the level of the water is going up, it is also detected here. So it is read here as your digital readings. So next, so these are examples of the application of your radiation level measurement. So in your lab manual activity, you have to measure pressure. So pressure measures the force acting over unit area. So it is the most expressed in the pounds per square inch, or PSI, pascals in metric units, which is the force in newtons per square meter, newton per square meter, and bar pressure measurements can be found but not limited in the air starting an emergency generator system as shown in these figures below. So this is you can found in your lab manual activity. So this one, so you measure pressures here of your air pressures uh, for starting your emergency generator. So you have also here, so just follow the instruction in your what we call in your lab manual activities. That one, how will you connect it to your uh, PCB. So I have to conduct oral station later, and please carried out your laboratory exercise number 4. So I will give you also quiz number 3 based on this discussion. So I also give you this video. So please click the link. So this video of Engineer Wera. So this is the end of the discussion. Please like and share. Write a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. Click notification button so that you will know the updates of my next video. Thank you for watching and see you on my next video.